You keep offensive linemen, bro. I'm so sick of it, man. I have to go in there and steal you guys' secret sauce, man. I got to figure out what the hell is going on. So, Alan, this shit right here got to stop, man. So, what do we got to do better? Because we can't have any more blocked field goals, man.
Nah, and I would like to point out with Green Bay that week, they were already seeing that we had chinks in the armor on that right side, if I remember correctly. They were attacking prior because the trajectory of that kicker that we got is very low. So that's what comes down. I think Basquiat, I think that's y'all special team coach. Am I saying his name right, Trail? Your special teams coach?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's been around since I've been eating peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. So he's a lifer in the NFL, man. And he picked up that little trait that you watch on film, those things that we ignore as fans, but coaches, they're just maniacal that way. And he just found a glitch in our matrix, man. And the offense, that part of the special teams was not shored up. And the sad part about it, the following week the team did it too. Minnesota, I believe, did the same thing. And I'm like, Hightower, Coach Hightower, you gotta, when a team do, you gotta counter these things. You can't just blame everything or try to just go about it at a half speed. You gotta change and adjust. And I think it's just a testament of our season. We didn't make the adjustments. Because I don't think it's a talent issue on our football team, G. Walker and CJ. I don't think it's a talent thing. It's a preparation and coaching thing. You know what I'm saying? So those are the difference between Green Bay that first year, he took the world by storm. You know, uh, nobody had tape on Matt Nagy because Andy Reid was doing the play calling. So nobody really knew what Matt Nagy's style of play was. So when he got to the Bears, he brought a style of play, scripted plays, doing a lot of movement, did a lot of end arounds. Like he was in that box of Andy Reid, but you couldn't tell what his play calling would be because he only called like, I think it was like 6 weeks that year in play calling. So when they figured him out, you know, NFL defensive coordinators get paid a lot of money. So when they figured him out year 2, he had to readjust. And the great ones like Sean Payton, Bill Walsh, I even would say McCarthy to a degree. You know, he doesn't get the credit he deserves. But McCarthy, the quarterback whisper. You know, those guys are great play
Like, I don't understand this, man, because everybody wants to talk about, oh, we fleeced the Carolina Panthers, we fleeced the Panthers, but bro, we only have 2 more wins more than the Carolina Panthers, man. Maybe 2 or 3. So I don't understand how this man is keeping his job, man. So CJ, when you look at this right here, man, how much of a fan are you disgusted by this?
It's very disappointing to see. It's very disappointing to see because to see like the Bears not competing enough, or not competing hard enough. Who knows what it could be? Why the Bears have lost so many games against the Packers?
I mean, it's ridiculous, man. It's poor drafting, it's poor management, it's poor everything, man. Because this is unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. They're going on 12 losses tomorrow in a row. So, Rev, if you were the Bears or if this was the Packers, how would you be feeling about this, man? Like, what would you do if this was you as a Packers fan, man?
Well, for me, it would be a win-win situation. In the way, if you won the game, you got the monkey off the back, right? It's not 12 games in a row. It's not 6 years straight. Well, it's the last week of their, that's over. And this new regime, you guys would be kind of rejuvenated. But I always think about the future, and I think losing this week is more important. Because I think, like, wherever you end up in that draft, you could leapfrog some people by losing. And we know that there's some studs available earlier on than they are later on. And even if you get a little bit of a better draft pick, people are calling and saying, I want that one. And you can move back and we'll give you more draft capital. So I feel like either way, it's good for you in a bad situation. You know what I mean? Like you want to turn this thing around. It's not a matter of like, who cares if you win this week? But at the same time, I understand why Bears fans want to win this week. If it was against anyone else, I think you guys would be like, let's just lose. But because it's us, because it's been possibly 12 in a row, there's this real like desire to win. And I get that. I just think like, what's the best for your success future going? And maybe it is. Maybe winning against us is the best for your success, because then you start to believe in this team and what it can do. But I don't know. I have a hard time feeling that I mean, it depends. Like, maybe we only play our starters till halftime. Like that's a very legitimate thing. Like, it doesn't matter if we win the game or not. We're in the playoffs. The only thing is we're 7th seed right now. If we win and Washington loses, we come 6th. So we'll play the Rams instead of the Eagles. And I just think at this stage, we're at the place where we just have to beat good teams. It doesn't matter who we play. We have to beat good teams in order to make some noise and just bring on whoever. Obviously I'd rather play the Rams more, but at this stage, there's nothing more we can do than just play either the Eagles or the Rams, and both on the road. All our games are going to be on the road now. So.
Yeah. And yeah, man, you guys just want to play against good teams. But we got some comments right here from Craig. Craig says, I do want the Bears to win because of my soul hatred for the Packers, but I'll be honest, I don't think we have a chance. Then we got Craig again, makes me want to puke looking at those stats. It's nasty shit, bro. It's nasty, man. It's 11 games in a row. We do need a draft pick 100%, but I don't even have the faith that Poles will draft the right lineman. And this is my take on it. I know I made that video about, us having the vibes of beating the Packers tomorrow, but if I'm the GM, you know what I mean, this game really doesn't matter, and that's one. And two, I don't even know if I was going to play Caleb Williams tomorrow. Like, what else does he have to prove besides him breaking the damn sack record tomorrow or getting closer to the all-time sack record? Like, there's nothing else for him to prove. I would hate for something to happen to him to where he has like a knee injury or ankle injury or his throwing arm or something like that. He gets hurt. So this game to me is a wash. I think we should go out there and, I hate to say it, and lose this game. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's not important for a lot of reasons. One, we can mess up our draft position. We can mess up our draft capital. Caleb Williams can get hurt. Roman Doomsday can get hurt. So Alan, how are you feeling about this game tomorrow, man? And how do you feel about us going out there trying to win this game? Even though it's the Packers, it's a rival. We haven't beat them in almost 6 years. But at the same time, we need the draft capital. So how you feel, Alan?
Well, I'm gonna go with Thomas Brown, man. He said something this week that we all are trying to improve our statuses, and that's going for the coaching staff and the players. Like, they're being evaluated. They are professional athletes. And the reason why I would say we're gonna go out there and win the game, well, I would want us to go out there and play the game like it's our last. I understand the draft position and all that, but these players, a lot of these guys are not going to be here next year. So you got to put film on tape. You're only good at your last football game. That's the NFL. So we need to go out there and play the game to win the game. The coaches need to go out and get some confidence. Thomas Brown would do wonders if he could win the game. So I'm gonna go on the ledge and just say we need to win the game because it's just for the soul. Like, could you imagine if we beat the Packers? And some people like me, I would probably be like, "It's a win." Like, that would have me going into the next season pumped. So I'm just gonna say I want us to win the game, and I feel like the draft position will take care of itself. Like Craig said, I don't have faith in Ryan Poles to do the right picking up a lineman. He did all right with Wright, but we need another set of eyes in that GM room. And as long as he's there, I just don't have no confidence in Ryan.
And I agree with you, man. But CJ, how do you feel about this game tomorrow, man? Do you want to win, or do you want the draft? Like, how you feeling, man? Because me personally, I don't see the silver lining with us winning this game. Like, it's like one thing Alan said, that a lot of people not even going to be here next year. So you're resetting your culture and you're resetting your players and everything, regardless of a win or a loss. But CJ, how do you feel about this game tomorrow, going in trying to win it?
I mean, my heart is saying I want the Bears to win, but I just don't think they're gonna do it, man. I just don't see it. I don't see a confident. I need to see a confident team. That's what we need to see. Confident team on both sides of the ball, even special teams. And I just don't see that.
Oh, man, I feel you. We got Darrell in here right now. What's up, Darrell? Saying, yes, sir, man. How you doing, Mr. Darrell? How you doing? All right, with that being said, we talked about the Bears, man. We're going to get into some Packers stuff, man, because there's a lot of question marks on you guys, man. You fans celebrate a lot of wins, bro. That a lot of BS wins. You guys act like you coming out here and you beating world beaters every Sunday, and that's not the case. A lot of you guys and y'all fan base overreact to wins, bro. You guys have not beaten necessarily a good team all year long, bro. Look at these losses, if anybody can see here. You barely lost to Minnesota. You beat the JV team in New Orleans. You beat Seattle. Lost to Detroit. You beat Miami. You beat a hurt San Francisco. You beat us. You lost to Detroit. Barely beat Jacksonville. Barely beat the Houston team. So Trent, what is the confidence level that you guys have going into the playoffs with this type of record of beating bad teams and not too many good teams?
I think this is a league of parity. That's the thing. Look at the difference between winning and losing. It's a big deal. It's close. Every team is battling and preparing, and so I mean, we can say a bad team here and a bad team there. Like, you know what I mean? It's just, if you look at these scores, like where do the ones that we lose? The only game that I felt like we really weren't in it was the Detroit one, and we lost by 10. The other ones, I mean, we're talking a 3-point loss. We're talking a 2-point losses against Minnesota. The one against the Eagles, week 1 in Brazil, is that if we had a kicker, it would have been a different story. And so I think it's easy to say that. It's easy to say, hey, you guys aren't that good. You're frauds. You know what? Maybe we are. At the end of the day, we're going to find out in the playoffs, and there's no excuses, and a W is a W there, and we got to pull it out. We got to win. We got to make those couple adjustments, Sometimes you have to beat the opponent and the refs. That's just a fact in this league. I think the refereeing hasn't been good, not just for against the Packers, but for a lot of teams. Like, I think the Chiefs get a lot of calls that go their way. I think there's been some games, and it's like, really, how's that not a penalty? But I don't want to use them as an excuse. It's just a fact that sometimes you got to beat them both. So,
what is you guys' record outside of not beating us against the NFC North?
Yeah,
so
we got swept by the Lions and the Detroit Lions, or the Detroit Lions and the Vikings. But I mean, so we lost by 2 to the Vikings twice, and we lost by 3 to Detroit, and then we lost by 10 by Detroit. So I mean, you guys can say, hey, we played well against the NFC North, and that's okay. So why isn't it okay for us to say the same thing?
No, I mean, I'm just asking because I want to know, like, what's, because you have to beat the guys in your division to have a chance to get to the playoffs in advance. And you guys have not beaten these teams, and you've only beaten us. But like the Bears, we're the punching bag of the division right now. So us necessarily, we're not in the equation, especially as far as playoffs. So Alan, when you see these wins and you see these losses by the Green Bay Packers, what are your thoughts about them going forward, playing in the playoffs with these wins? Because they beat teams that the New Orleans Saints, they beat Seattle, they beat a lot of teams in the NFC that necessarily weren't good teams. They lost to the top team. So what do you see, Alan?
They remind me of, you remember that year that we went, that was the first COVID year when they extended the playoffs, when we beat everybody we were supposed to beat that year, and we just slightly got in the playoffs. This Packers team remind me of that. Like, they beat who they were supposed to beat. And sometimes that's just what it calls for. I mean, I think if they can keep Jordan Love upright, they can give a lot of teams a lot of problems. If they can stay consistent with the run game. But a lot of times their defense will put them in some bad spots. Like, they're chasing a lot of times against good teams. You don't want to chase good teams. You got to establish the game and keep the game within a one score. Great teams keep games within one score. And I think sometimes with the Packers, sometimes they're chasing more than they're doing anything. And that takes a lot of work when you're constantly coming back. Like we were for 6 weeks. We were coming back 20 points down, but that's not sustainable football. So I would recommend the Packers is kind of get in front of teams and control the game. Trev, have y'all played a complete game? I mean, even against us, it wasn't really a complete game. We really controlled the game at Soldier Field. We just didn't finish. And I mean, have y'all had enough complete games going forward for your life?
Yeah, obviously, our first half says, as this guy's saying here, Craig's saying, that we've had slow starts. That's been our Achilles heel this season. And I feel like that's a bit of on coaching. They're just not ready. They're not ready to play, and they don't have the adjustments. Once halftime hits, the adjustments have been amazing. So I think you're right. We have to start better. Let's talk about the complete game recently that I was at live. I was in Seattle for the Seattle game. I literally was on row 8 by the tunnel and watched them drive those 2 drives and score on two possessions straight against the Seahawks, who at the time were winning their division. So we went in and we just smacked them in the mouth. And I felt like that was a real complete game. Obviously, the Saints is a depleted team. You can't count that as a full slate there. Minnesota, again, slow start. So that's the thing. You're right. If we have slow starts, good chance we don't win in the playoffs. So we got to play better. We got to fight better. We got to get more than 3.5 points or 7.5 points. It's just that's just a fact. So yeah.
And well said, Rev. Well said, man. And good take, Alan. So CJ, when you see these type of losses, these type of wins going forward, and you got to put the Packers in a box, if you watched them at all, what like he said they start slow. So what do you think their Achilles heel is?
I would say probably them starting slow, and they gotta play catch up. I think if the Packers were to get off to a good start, they'll probably win more of those games if they lost.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And then we got Craig right here with a comment. Say, I think Green Bay would much rather see the Rams in the playoff. I think the Eagles will give them a lot of trouble due to Green Bay having very slow starts to games. Then we got Craig giving a shout out to Rev. He said, "This is the smartest Packer fan I have ever met. He actually speaks facts, not just a fanboy. Hats off to you, my man. I respect the way you tell it like it is." This is what we trying to do, man. I met him through Andy from NFL Outdated. Shout out to Andy over there, NFL Outdated, man. And I was on his show before, and Rev was up there, and he was speaking those facts again, man. So I said, man, we got to work together on one of our shows at the end of the season, and here we are, man. So, Craig, I always try to get the creme de la creme, man. I try to get the best people for you to come view, and so we can have a good show, man. But we're going to keep it moving with one more thing, though. This right here, man. Trev. I've watched Jordan Love. I've said things about him with his back foot throwing ass. He throw interceptions off his back foot. I said that he got paid too soon. To me personally, I still think he got paid way too fast. And then we're starting to see some of the games that he's losing against good teams, you know what I mean, this year, you know what I mean? So how do you feel about Jordan Love and his contract? Do you think that he got paid too soon? Do you think he's a quarterback that can get you guys over the hump? Or you think he's a little bit overrated?
That's a great question. And this is where I feel like I do realistic takes, right? I'm honest about I think we overpaid Jordan Love. I think his contract came up at the exact right time for him. And now the NFL is this league is like the next guy gets paid whenever the contracts. I mean, look at Dak, look at Deshaun Watson, look at Daniel Jones. These guys don't deserve the money that they're making, but they get their contracts come up at the right time. And what else are you going to do? It's hard to find a quarterback. You have to have some losing seasons. And look at the Seahawks. Like when they traded with Denver, they could have drafted with that 5th pick a quarterback. The thing is, Anthony Richardson went at 4, and I think that's who they wanted. So they had to wait. Now they're stuck with Geno, right? And that's the thing. As I think that Jordan Love is overpaid. I made a video on it with Miles from Weekly Packer Podcast, and I talked to him. I said I think he's overpaid. Now, it's his choice, and I mean it is what it is. There's nothing I can do. It's not my money. You know what I mean? Like, what am I going to do? I'm just glad we have a franchise quarterback, and people who think that Jordan Love has regressed this year, it's just not true. He had an injury, and he doesn't have to sling it 40 times a game anymore because we have a run game that's effective. So I agree with you 100%. He throws off his back foot way too much. There's times where he's rolling out of the pocket. He's trying to do these passes, and he has talent to do it, but I wouldn't say you do it every time. He's got the arm strength and the power, but if he would set his feet, he would be a better quarterback. And sometimes he thinks he doesn't have time, where he does. It's about pocket awareness, about the pressure, and I think he's a better quarterback than he's played this year. But I don't know if Jordan Love's going to put up the numbers that everyone's going to say he's amazing. They're going to say he's just a game manager now, and that's just not true. It's just that the team's better. It's better than last year. It's better defensively. It's better at a run game this year. So I think you're not going to see the 300-plus yard games every game from him. He could do that like he did last year at the second half of the season, but you don't have to when you have a good run game. That's just my personal opinion. But I'm with you guys. I have the same concerns, but I think he's still a super talent. Like some of the throws he makes blows my mind. And they're amazing. So I think he's got a lot of talent.
Yeah. And well said, man, because I actually want to know, because I'm like, they paid him kind of fast for a guy to have one. He had a good year. But, man, like you say, his contract came up and the market's the market. But, sometimes winning is tied to your contract. Like, when you look at the top guys in the NFL, like a Mahomes and a Lamar and an Allen, you know what I mean? These guys are getting paid 55, 60 million, whatever they're getting paid. Then you go down, even Jalen Hurts. and you go down that top 4 or 5, and the guys that can't beat good teams are getting paid the same amount of money. So, Allen, when you see guys like this, that's not necessarily an elite quarterback, getting paid this way, how do you feel about that, man?
Well, just to kind of throw it out there, man, the NFL it ain't like when we were coming up, like with the Troy Aikman, the Dan Marinos. You had to earn your contract. Like, you were paid on your production. But the NFL is not engined by production as much as it is the market. Jordan Love's agent is Justin Fields' agent. He's one, I forgot his name, but he's one of the best agents in football. So he knows what needs to be paid to a player when he comes up. If he's a starting quarterback on a playoff team, he's going to command 55. And that's saying Joe Burrow, probably his next contract will be 65. And then when Caleb comes up for his contract, if everything pans out, he'll be north of 70. So the agents of the NFL today have found a way to push that salary up for the quarterbacks. Like, the NFL before the season, they were trying to put a cap on the quarterbacks, have a separate salary cap for the quarterbacks, but it's going to be hard to do that. That's discrimination. That could get ate up in court. But the market now is set by the agents. The player, if he can just sustain himself, be a quality football player, i.e. Dak Prescott, just be a marketable quarterback, he'll get the money. So we're in that type of venue now where it's all about the market. It ain't really about the guy anymore. The guy that you cheer for. It's more about the market position and when he comes up for his contract. And if his team is a playoff football team.
Man, well said, man. And we got some comments still coming from Craig. It says, it also shows that Matt does an amazing job working to Jordan Love's strengths and coming up with very smart routes and plays. And that's what you want. Like, you have to give credit to Matt LaFleur and what he's able to do with the young quarterback that's set for 3 years. You know what I mean? Everybody having questions about him and still put him in a situation to be an average to above average quarterback, and he got paid. So you got to give Matt LaFleur a lot of credit for that, man. Like, you really do. It's a great coach. Then we got the Bears Den podcast, showed you how smart KC is as a franchise. They paid Mahomes first, got ahead of these big contracts. Mahomes now is a steal. So CJ, we got a guy that came from Kansas City, Ryan Poles. So the fact that this is a steal, you know what I'm saying? Mahomes, they got ahead of it, like Craig said. So what are your thoughts about the way that Ryan Poles has worked some of these contracts? And do you think that he'll be doing the same thing with Caleb Williams?
You will hope so, that he can get ahead of he can get Caleb paid first and then worry about everybody else later. But, Ryan Poles is a question mark. So you really just don't know what the hell he's going to do. You just don't know what he's going to do.
All right. Hey, Rev, we don't know how long we got you, but what we usually do, when we got a guest, we ask them, what's the score of the game? Who's your offensive MVP or your defensive MVP of the game tomorrow, man? So how much do you have the Packers winning or the Bears winning, or who's your MVP of the game, et cetera, stuff like that?
Yeah, that's a good question. I guess it just comes down to like how long our starters are in and all that kind of stuff. So I feel like there's a little difficult one. I'll say that we win by 10, and oh man, that's gonna be tough. I'll say Josh Jacobs. I'll just make it easy for myself. He'll be our offensive MVP. I think Edgerrin Cooper will be our defensive MVP.
All right, man. And then we got a couple of Bears things, man. You can stay around if you want to after this. We're just gonna get into some stuff about I got from about Mike Vrabel and what he said, what he wants. So you can stay around if you want to talk about if you want to, or after this segment, man, you can get ready for your Packers game tomorrow. But CJ, what's your score of the game, and who's your MVP or offense or defense? What we got, big dog?
I got the Bears losing 17 to 17-7.
17-7. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Alan, what we got, man?
Yeah, I got 30-20. I'm gonna go with Cole Kmet. Cole Kmet been really vocal this week. Cole Kmet needs to step behind his words. He's been saying some stuff, and I'm hoping that he gets a lot of targets tomorrow. Because the way he talks like he's the best thing, or he's got all the answers, but never catches the football block. So I'm rooting for Cole Kmet tomorrow to stand behind his words this week and show us leadership. And that's who I'm going for. 30-20, Cole Kmet. Hopefully get 100 yards and a couple touchdowns.
Man, I got the Bears. I got the Bears winning this game 24-14. I think, like Rev said, they're going to start sitting some of their starters probably at halftime. And I think Caleb, and Keenan Allen does a good job. I think the Bears win this game. But like I say, Rev, you can stay for this, but this is the first domino of the Chicago Bears coaching situation, man. This is what I saw. This is one of the pieces I put up on the Twitter page, and I shared it around. And this is one of the first actual quotes that we got from Mike Vrabel, because he's on the list as being one of Chicago Bears coaches, man. And everybody want to know pretty much what he thinks, because he's interviewing next week. And this is what he said. He said, there's got to be a clear communication with ownership so that we understand as coaches what the expectations are. Vrabel said, that's so we can explain to them what's reasonable, what we can do, what we possibly can do, and what we're going to try to do or die trying. I want to have a structure in place that people see the game the same way I do, from an X and O standpoint, from a personnel standpoint, with the team building we will hopefully have. Alan, I already oversee you over there shaking your head, bro. Go ahead and give it to me, man, because I don't know if George McCaskey, like, it seems like he's trying to skip from the GM to the president and go straight to the owner. Alan, I don't know if that's going to work. I don't know if that's going to happen.
No, I'm gonna tell you, man. I'm gonna tell you, in business, we all know, when you take away chain of command, that's starting. That's a lot of animosity is gonna be in a little room. You have to respect the GM, whether we like him or not. We still gotta respect the general manager, Ryan Poles. Mike Vrabel, if you come to Chicago, your boss is Ryan Poles, period. If he's the GM in place, you go through him. You don't go to the ownership. That's not your supervisor. They pay our money, they pay your check, but your supervisor is Ryan Poles. Your communication should be with Ryan Poles and Ryan Poles alone. So if you got a coach like that, and I'm pretty sure Mike Vrabel wants that 53-man roster. He wants to be the final say of the 53-man roster. And also, Ryan is not going to relinquish that, guys. He's not going to relinquish that 53-man roster. That's his job. Once a GM relinquishes 53, he's just a guy on the payroll then. He's just a glorified guy during the draft combine. I mean, he's just not the same guy or person. So Mike Vrabel, I would like him to tone it down. I understand questioning at the interview process, but when the season starts, your boss is Ryan Poles. This goes to show you got to get rid of Ryan Poles, because these coaches that are coming for this job, especially Mike Vrabel, he's decorated. So he has the right to say what he's saying, but Ryan Poles cannot be in that same bracket. So I don't think Mike Vrabel's going to come to Chicago, because to everybody who's talking this week, Ryan Poles is not going anywhere. And so I don't think it's a match, man. I like Vrabel, but that conversation right there tells us everything, G Walker. It tells us everything.
I'm gonna go to CJ, but I'm gonna go to Rev first. So Rev, you see the type of dysfunction, and what Mike Vrabel is saying is not unreasonable. He wants alignment with the GM and the ownership. That's not unreasonable. So, but when you see this, And you see how the Chicago Bears operate, and you gotta seem like he's a guy with structure, and he comes with a guy with boundaries, and that's something that the Chicago Bears desperately need from a head coach. So when you see stuff like this, and the Bears might not even hire him, what are your thoughts, man?
I actually like Vrabel. I get a little nervous if you guys end up getting him. Andy from NFL Outdated that you guys are going to have on after the post-game show. He sent me a list as well, 10 different guys. I mean, on that list is Mike McCarthy and Pete Carroll. And I'm just telling you, like, I would rather have Vrabel than that. I think the question is who wants to come to Chicago and who's got the talent and the skill set. And there's a bunch of guys on that list. I think they're going to just stay where they are. But that's the tough one, right? So there's this combination of having the right fit plus the guy who wants to come. I think everyone wants to get the guy from Detroit. Is it Johnson? And
Ben Johnson.
Yeah, and I'm like, I don't know why he would leave to do that. I guess it's like that you're in charge and you get paid more. I'm not sure, but
he's the pretty girl at the prom right now, and the price to take the pretty girl to the prom right now is out of control. He wants $15 million a year, his own GM, and I'm hearing reports that Ben Johnson actually wants the Bears. He's leaning towards that he wants them to get rid of Ryan Poles. So he wants the GM gone. He wants his own GM. He wants $15 million a year. You know what I mean? And for a guy that's never had a position as a head coach, he's never developed a quarterback. This is asking for a lot for a franchise that's a mess. Like, I could see if we were a stable franchise in the 80s and the 90s, like, oh, you could just bring a young guy in here and let him do his thing. You cannot trust a situation like that with an inexperienced quarterback, with a inexperienced head coach with a rookie quarterback going into his second year. That is like throwing dynamite on top of dynamite on top of dynamite. So I don't think that that's going to work. I've been out on Ben Johnson since I've heard about Ben Johnson coming here. I just think it's too much of a job for a guy that's not even his playbook. You know what I mean? A lot of the Detroit Lions fans say that's Dan Campbell's playbook. That's not even his playbook. And he doesn't even have the old offensive line coming that he got. It's Detroit. It's a lot of things around Ben Johnson that he has and he's insulated with in Detroit. So it's like you can't just take one piece of Detroit and think it's going to translate to Chicago Bears without having the whole foundation. Like, you got to have all the ingredients. So we're going to go back to Mike Vrabel. I just want to hit on your point. So, CJ, the things that Mike Vrabel has said right now, what do you think about it, what he wants as far as alignment with the team that he wants to coach?
You know, if you're Ryan Poles, you're a little bit concerned. But this is the second coach that is pretty much may not have said it, but if we kind of read between the lines, they said they don't want you as a GM. So I'm kind of glad these coaches are speaking up like this because we're kind of seeing what they're saying and what they want. And I'd rather for them to say it right now than to say it later.
Yeah, and I gotta agree. And like I said before, it's gonna be a domino effect. You know what I'm saying, Rev? Once one coach says they want this guy out as a GM, it's gonna be a snowball effect, and that's gonna have to put our guy Kevin Warren in a situation where he has to let go of his GM, because you can't let Ryan Poles, the guy that didn't fix the offensive line, the guy that didn't fix the defensive line, the guy that got lucky with Caleb Williams, he got cute with DJ Moore, he traded for Montez Sweat. So, Allen, how much faith do you have in Kevin Warren actually firing Ryan Poles? And Rev, I'm gonna ask you the same thing after Allen goes. How do you feel about this, Allen?
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Kevin Warren is really playing the chess moves. Like, you know, he took back the front office from the agency. So I don't think Kevin Warren has a problem in hell to find Ryan Poles. This is a George McCaskey thing. I think George McCaskey is really pushing for Ryan to keep his job. I think Kevin Warren would fire Ryan Poles in 5 minutes if he was given an okay to do. I don't think this will be a conversation. But he can't do it because George has already promised Ryan. He made promises to Ryan when Ryan took the job. So he's honoring his contract and he's honoring Ryan. And I believe that's what's been told to Kevin. So Kevin's being the constant professional. He's doing what he's making sure he insulates Ryan because of the owner. So he's being the buffer between the owner and the GM. So I think he would do it. It's a coveted job, but I think Kevin Warren is going to have a big emphasis on the coach. But I really believe that's going to be the problem. I think it's going to take us about 30 days to make a head coaching decision. It's going to be a lot of back and forth because it's going to be tested with these coaches that you want. They want a lot of stuff that you might not be able to give them, Kev, because you got an owner that's tied to the GM. So Kev's in a tough spot. I know if it was up to him, we wouldn't be here. We would go ahead, fire Ryan Monday morning and call it a day. But I don't think it's going to be that easy for him.
Man, I feel so. Rad, before you get out of here, man, before we let you plug your socials one more time, before we go, we all leave. What are your thoughts on Kevin Warren? How much do you know about him? Because I see him as a guy that's like a older man. He doesn't play around. You can look at his face right there. He doesn't mess around, man. So what do you think that'll happen with this situation?
To be honest with you, I don't know much about this situation, so I'm not going to fake it till I make it here. But
right.
I think these guys have these positions for a reason, and I don't know. This will be the most coveted job in the NFL. I don't know. I think that's just I don't know. I can't see that. That kind of seems a little outrageous to me.
Tell your truth, man. It's okay, man. It's cool.
But at the same time, it's a great opportunity for someone to come in and prove themselves. And you got a lot of talent on this team, and you could with the right changes and the right personnel, you might be able to change it around quicker than say a different situation. So maybe that's what he's talking about. Well, of the available places, then this is one of the better ones. Plus, you guys are getting a new stadium, right? So that always helps too, right? So
we hope.
If that happened, yeah, I hope you are too, because yeah. Anyways, it is what it is. So that's kind of where I'm at. But yeah, so I don't want to pretend like I know with Warren. I don't know much about him at all. I'm very focused on my team. So
all right. Well said, man. I appreciate your honesty. I appreciate your transparency. I appreciate you coming in, man. Stand for an hour and 12. We actually have 68 people viewing right now. Shout out to Alan. Shout out to CJ, man. You guys came in here and rocked it. We will be back tomorrow after the game, 15, 20 minutes. After the game, we'll have our post game, and we're bringing in Andy from NFL Outdated, man. He's a big supporter of CNG podcast platform. He does a lot of things without me asking him to do it. So I've been on his show twice. Now he's going to be on our show for the first time, and then he gets to meet CJ and he gets to meet Alan, man. So with that being said, Brad, tell the people where they can find you before we get out of here, man.
Well, actually, I would just like to say thank you for having me on. And I want to encourage people, if you're watching and you haven't hit the like and subscribe to this channel, CNG Podcast, these guys are grinding. They're doing a great job. I like it that they're realistic, they're honest, and I don't think a lot of Bears fans are going to follow my channel anyways. but if you want me to poke the bear, come follow me. I think you guys should be liking and subscribing to this channel and supporting these guys. The grind that they do is awesome, and I've enjoyed being with you guys. So, but if you want to follow me, RevTrev NFL all over the place, hit the like and subscribe. I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, man, and we're gonna have Andy on tomorrow, man. That there's a way, because I know how you and the chemistry you and him got. If you can somehow come on the post game show tomorrow, just show up, man. Like, just come, because I know how Andy's gonna be tomorrow. So you guys can come on and you can just match each other's energy, man. But with that being said, shout out to everybody in here. Oh, hold on, I got to go through the comment section one time on Twitter. This is Captain Caleb we were talking about Flores, and then we were talking about. I said he was my least favorite. O's knows him. Sure, if he had it his way, this will be the coach. Then we had who else did we had on Twitter? We had the Bears News Australia. This is our other guy right here. Actually was on our Twitter space last time. He's actually from Australia down under, and we were talking to him too. And then we had the Bear Review. Then we were just saying how much the alignment has to happen with Vabril and all these things. So we just trying to bring a community together, whether it's from the Green Bay Packers, whether it's the Detroit Lions, whether it's people from Twitter, X, Facebook. We want to bring everybody along, so that way everybody knows that it's not just about CNG Podcast, me, CJ, and Allen, but it's also about the Bears fans as well, and our neighbors from the NFC North and the Green Bay Packers. So shout out to the Bear Review. We're going to be working with them 2025. Shout out to the Bears News Australia. We're going to be working with them 2025. Shout out to the Bears Den Podcast. Shout out to Andy over there. And it's another Bears podcast. So 2025 for CNG Podcast, as far as collaborators, is going to be off the chain. So make sure you guys like and follow, subscribe to the CNG Podcast on X, the CNG Podcast on Twitter, and the CNG Podcast on YouTube, man. CJ, what's your final thoughts before we get out of here, bro?
And hopefully the Bears can pull out a win. I'm going to pray for them, but that's all I can do is pray for them.
That's it. And we out.